What you're about to hear could completely change your body. Eating eggs every day is one of the most powerful and most misunderstood habits in the fitness world. Did you know it can help you build muscle faster, boost your metabolism, and protect your brain at the same time? But if you do it wrong, you could also be harming your health without even realizing it. Today, I'll show you exactly what happens to your body when you eat eggs every day. And trust me, no one is explaining it like this. For years, we were taught to fear eggs. Too much cholesterol raises the risk of heart attacks, better limit it to one a week. But something doesn't add up. Why did we demonize a food that has been part of human diets for thousands of years? While normalizing French fries cooked in reused oil, cereals packed with refined sugar, and drinks loaded with corn syrup. There's a contradiction very few people dare to point out. We fear eggs, but not ultra-processed food. We repeat unfounded phrases as if they were absolute truths. Don't eat the yolk, just eat the whites. Eggs clog your arteries. What if all of that was a lie? What if eggs were actually one of the most complete sources of protein and nutrients, and we simply misunderstood them? Let's put this into perspective. Cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity. These are modern conditions. They exploded in recent decades, precisely when the food industry flooded supermarkets with ultra-processed products. Before that, when our grandparents ate eggs every day, at breakfast, in simple farm lunches, in modest dinners, these diseases were rare. People weren't counting calories, they didn't go to the gym. And yet, there was less obesity and fewer heart attacks. So what changed? It wasn't the egg, it was the environment. Fake food, marketing disguised as science. We were convinced that a natural, complete food like the egg was the enemy, while cereal bars, hydrogenated margarines, and light beverages quietly entered every household. And so, millions of people began to fear a food that human biology has recognized for thousands of years. How long are we going to keep repeating this mistake? If you've ever thought eggs were just breakfast food, you're missing out on one of the most powerful foods for transforming your body. Let's start with the basics. A single egg contains about 6 to 7 grams of protein, with an amino acid profile so perfect it's used as the scientific reference standard to measure the quality of other proteins. In other words, egg protein isn't wasted. It's absorbed quickly. It's used efficiently. This protein contains leucine, a key amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis after training. But that's just the beginning. Eggs are also rich in choline, an essential nutrient for brain function, cell regeneration, and the production of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that controls muscle contraction. Without choline, you don't get proper muscle control. Without choline, you also don't get deep rest or efficient recovery. Eggs also contain vitamin D, essential for hormone production, immune function, and bone density. Vitamin A, vision, skin health, and reproductive system support. Vitamin E, an antioxidant that protects your cells from oxidative damage after training. B12 and folate, crucial for cellular energy production and tissue repair. Lutein and zeaxanthin, antioxidants that protect eye health and support cognitive function. What about fats? Far from being harmful, the fats in eggs are allies. They provide a balanced ratio of saturated, monounsaturated, and polyunsaturated fats. This balance supports hormone production, including testosterone, key if you're chasing hypertrophy, strength, or performance. Even the infamous dietary cholesterol in eggs, the one everyone feared in the 80s, does not negatively affect blood cholesterol levels in healthy individuals. In fact, it supports steroid hormone production and the integrity of cell membranes. An egg is a capsule of pure nutrition, a natural anabolic, and a complete support system for anyone who trains and wants real results, not just looks. There's a question that always comes up when someone starts eating more eggs. Is 5 eggs a day too much? The short answer is no, it's not. And here's why. When people hear excess, they think cholesterol or fat. But that ignores something crucial: context. 5 eggs contain roughly 30 to 35 grams of protein. That's similar to a 150-gram serving of chicken breast. Does eating 150 grams of chicken sound excessive? No. So why would 5 eggs be? The real problem with eggs isn't their nutrition, it's the satiety they create. The healthy fat content, especially in the yolk, fills you up faster. So many people feel full after 2 eggs and assume they've had enough protein, when in reality, they're far below what's needed to optimally stimulate muscle growth. A practical solution: If you train and want more protein without feeling overly full, combine 2 or 3 whole eggs with 2 or 3 egg whites. This boosts total protein, maintains satiety, and lets you adjust fat intake based on your goals. Eating 5 eggs a day is not only safe, it can be extremely effective for improving performance, body composition, and metabolic health. The real excess isn't eggs, it's unfounded fear. So far, we've talked about the benefits of eggs, but nothing is black and white. Like any powerful food, eggs depend on context. And if you ignore that context, you can run into problems, even if you're doing everything right. What almost no one tells you is that eggs, like any protein consumed in high amounts, can trigger food sensitivity if your digestive system isn't working properly. How does this happen? It starts in the gut. If your intestinal lining is damaged by chronic stress, alcohol, lack of fiber, overuse of antibiotics, poor chewing habits, or years of eating ultra-processed foods, the proteins you eat aren't fully digested. Instead of being absorbed as amino acids, they leak into the bloodstream as poorly processed fragments. Your immune system reacts. It sounds the alarm. Defense mode. Inflammation. At that point, the egg isn't the real problem, your gut is. But since eggs are in your diet every day, they become the prime suspect. That's where intolerances are born. Sounds exaggerated? Maybe. But think about this. When a dog starts losing hair and gets taken to the vet, one of the first things they do is change its protein source. Why? Because in many cases, sensitivity to that protein is the cause. And humans aren't that different. So if you suspect something's off, bloating, heaviness, fatigue, and you're eating eggs daily, it might be worth removing them temporarily for 8 to 12 weeks while you work on gut repair. Once your digestive system is stronger, you can reintroduce eggs and see if they were really the culprit, or if you just blame them for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Eating eggs isn't dangerous, but eating them with an inflamed gut, without realizing it, can quietly sabotage your progress. Sometimes logic isn't enough. Sometimes, to break a myth, we need evidence. So let's look at what real science says about eating eggs every day. For years, it was believed that the cholesterol in eggs raised blood cholesterol. But modern research shows something very different. A 2018 analysis of more than 500,000 people, published by researchers in China, found that daily egg consumption, 1 egg a day, consistently, was associated with a lower risk of cardiovascular disease. Lower, not higher. In 2017, another long-term study in Finland showed that frequent egg consumption did not increase the risk of Alzheimer's, even in people with a genetic predisposition. In fact, those who ate eggs regularly performed better on cognitive tests. And what about cholesterol? More recent research has made it clear that dietary cholesterol, the kind that comes from foods like eggs, does not have a direct negative impact on LDL cholesterol in healthy individuals. In many cases, it actually improves the ratio between good cholesterol, HDL, and bad cholesterol, LDL. There are also studies comparing the effects of eating 3 eggs a day versus taking choline supplements. The result? Eggs produced a better metabolic effect, even compared to synthetic forms of choline like choline bitartrate, which is common in supplements but less biologically effective. In other words, eggs are not just safe. They're effective, they're powerful, and their positive impact goes far beyond muscle health. It extends to cognition, inflammation control, metabolism, and the prevention of neurodegenerative diseases. So why do you still hear that eggs raise cholesterol? Because misinformation spreads faster than truth. And because many people keep citing outdated, poorly designed studies that have already been debunked. What modern science tells us is clear. If you don't have allergies or specific genetic conditions, you can eat eggs every day. And chances are, your body and your health will thank you for it. Now imagine this. You commit to a challenge. 31 days. Every morning right after waking up, you eat 5 eggs. Every single day. No excuses. You train, you rest, you hydrate, you eat clean. But you keep one rule locked in, 5 eggs a day. What would happen to your body? You might think it's too much. But what many people don't realize is that this amount, when properly spaced, can give you 30 to 35 grams of highly bioavailable protein per day. Exactly what your body needs to trigger muscle protein synthesis from the very first meal. What you'd see after those 31 days wouldn't just be a physical change. You'd feel fuller. You'd snack less. You'd gain better control over your total calorie intake. You'd notice improvements in your skin, your digestion, and your training energy. You might even start sleeping better, thanks to the effects of choline and vitamin D on sleep quality. And there's more. Your recovery between workouts becomes faster, more efficient. Fatigue doesn't drag you down anymore. Your nervous system responds better. Your performance stabilizes. Your body feels dialed in, and all of this. Why? Because you chose to give your body a complete functional and evolutionarily coherent food, one that was ignored for years out of fear, not science. So here's the real question. Are you willing to try it? Are you ready to challenge the myth and test it for yourself? Because if you do, it might not just change your physique, it could change the way you understand nutrition forever. Here's the irony. For years, we were afraid of eggs, a complete ancestral food packed with protein, vitamins, antioxidants, and healthy fats. All because someone, at some point, said it had cholesterol. Meanwhile, we normalize lab-made foods, products we don't recognize, foods that didn't exist 100 years ago, wrapped in plastic and loaded with additives. But if there's one thing we've learned, and you already know this if you train, it's that the answer isn't in the newest trend. The answer is in going back to the essentials, to what the body recognizes, to what actually works. And eggs work. Don't be afraid. Fear misinformation instead. Fear building your diet on myths and half-truths, because that can cost you years of progress, or your health. And if you're fascinated by how extreme, primitive, or controversial choices can transform bodies and break the rules, then you need to watch this next video. The Eccentric Life of Liver King. A character who, just like the egg, has been loved, hated, and misunderstood, but hides a story that will have you thinking for days. Click here, watch it now, and get ready for a brutal dose of inspiration, contradiction, and unfiltered reality. See you there.